Hi guys, so we have been working on this quite intensely now and getting a lot of things done with it. There's a few hiccups happened because I was trying to get the maps working for the character set stuff, and that's now fixed. Hopefully you can see that here. So I've made these little examples. With the maps, you have to use the macro Vic. You choose these different modes with it. I don't know how perfect it is, but at least it will work with your character sets. I don't know about all these other modes just yet. I've not really proof checked anything. I'm just getting it out there and then working on it. A lot of things have been crossing over and codes being mixed up in a few places. Just the way I work is a bit messy, to be honest. So I like to get things started, but don't really finish things off either. So it ends up, in order to make something really work, I need to finish both things, and it's kind of a race of what happens first. So that's just how it goes. I've got map data working. I noticed that if your maps are bigger than 40 by 25, it doesn't read the data correctly. So I need to work on that. For example, I made a map 80 by 25 from CarPad, imported it, and it missed every second line, just the way it reads the data. I've improved the colouring stuff here, so also if you middle mouse you can get even more characters. It supports up to 512 characters per character set if you need that many. That's quite a lot. So that's that. To colour in without changing a block, just hold down Alt. If you want to change the block and you can colour it, you just click like that. So that's kind of how that works. So just colouring, just hold down Alt. Right, so that's that. That should all work. You can change the border and background colours obviously as well, to suit whatever you're making, and that should all work. The character set's loaded in. Oh yeah, also in the map you now can choose, there'll be a drop down of different character sets you can choose here. This might bug out if there's a list that ends up going past this. It might end up clicking here. I'll need to check that later once I've loaded more than one character set, but I see that happening. The map I've loaded into 8000 because the map data itself is kind of generic, so that's way up here somewhere. That's the map data, that's the colour data. That's the character set. This is bank 1 here, and yeah, I think that's it. Let me just check. There used to be a little bar that would show the Vic bank, but you can see it's in Vic bank 0 anyway. That's where the character set needs to live. I've realised there's other things about where you position data is super fussy about stuff like that, like multiples of 800. Sprite banks have to be in a certain place, so all this stuff I'm like relearning. Stuff I remember little bits about when I was younger. I'm kind of relearning that. I don't know what's that colour is here, but I'm getting like a clash of things. Might just be something's got the headers getting fed in down here, but it should really just be this data. So I'll look at why that is. I think it's something to do with the map data itself. This all works. Press F5. So we'll just switch to the right Vic bank, and I'll load the characters, and load the map, put it all together, and there you go. So that's all working nice. Sprites obviously need to live in the same Vic bank when it comes to loading them in. So that's between 0 and 3FFF. I've made up a little spreadsheet here on the side. Yeah, it's just this one, just to show you that this is each bank. That's the screen where the screen RAM's kept. Then like 3F8 off of this is where your sprite pointers live. So they're all in multiples of 40 as well. So 47F8 plus hex 40 would be 48, I don't know, 28 or something like that, or 38. So then that would be your next sprite if you're doing an animation. But I'm going to automate all that. There's going to be animation macros, there's going to be movement macros. The next thing I want to work on is like variables, like named addresses. So instead of like load the accumulator with 5 and store in 3000, whatever, you know, I've put vars in code as a kind of like guide point there. It's a good place to put it. Depends where you put your sprites. All these markers, they're not quite right. The sprites, when I put them at 6800, they needed A0 added to them to get them to the right point for whatever reason. There's just things that just are off with the way that I've put things in memory here. I'm learning through mistake, and it's forcing me to look at the mistakes are forcing me to look at the right information, which I'm a bit lazy about. So I'm kind of just making the easy stuff first and learning the hard stuff as I go. Anyway, that should be helpful, but definitely dig deeper into any sort of documentation. Again, the Discord is there for us to sort of interact and make this better together. I'm quite happy to slave away and make it and eventually make a game. I'm also quite happy to see if other people make stuff with it. Anyway, that's working, so I'm just going to I'll just save that because I've done a tiny little bit of work on it. I'm making like tests for every little thing now, and I bet you my sprites don't work anymore because just the way things go, you fix one thing, something else breaks. So this is the bitmap one. We actually don't need the Viki anymore. The bitmap derives its bank directly from the value here, I believe. I don't know if this will do it automatically, but if I put in, there you go. So it automatically changed, but I honestly don't know if it will display right. Let's give it a go at 2000. See if it works. I doubt it. There's going to be something in there that's hard coded it. Yeah, there's something in there that's hard coded this to be at 4000, and it just means that I still need to fix that bit of code that makes it dynamic. But at 4000, it should load. Stage right mode. Don't do it. Do it. Yes. Okay. So bitmaps are finally working. Obviously, if you want to change the border color, just do it after the fact. There's how you change your border colors. It's quite a handy little, you know, it's a couple of bytes. It's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bytes to make this up. This is what we did back in the day. We would poke 53280, which is DO20, and 53281, which is DO21. DO20 is the border. The way I remember it is O is outer, right? DO2 outer. DO21 is the background, the one in the middle. So you can't change these yet here, but you can change them with the actual Vic setup if you wanted to change the borders here. But 37 bytes just to do that. You can just literally copy that code. You can also do things like ink. So if you wanted to increase what was in a location, you can use ink with immediate mode. Should be here somewhere. I've just been looking at it all day. So for example, if I want to, yeah, this is the loop, right? This is going to go jump to target, jump to target. So what we can do is we can actually do DO20, right, border. We'll just increase that, so we'll actually see some activity. So hopefully it loads a bitmap and we should get a fuzzy border. There you go. So it's fast, right? It's super fast, super fast. If you run in the emulator and you pause it, you'll see it's going through the colors here. There's also these like little things that get in between. I'm not too sure what that might be. Maybe the cost of the jump or whatever, but it does that. So you see it's gone blue, yellow, it's going through the colors, pink, grey, cyan. Anyway, it's sort of like blasting through all the colors really fast. And what you'd want to do then is to put in a V-weight, right, and that will slow it down. Basically, it's going to wait until it's drawn a full image worth. So that V-weight is a handy little kind of loop that just makes sure it waits. I'm sure there's other tricks of how to do that, but it means some other stuff. I don't know yet, but there's probably better tricks to do that. So now it's just flickering, but it kind of rips around a bit here. I think I just need to continue it a bit, so you can mess with that number So that FB, you could try FD, right? And then see if it goes further down, just until it goes past the border. It might depend on your screen's refresh rate, the 50 Hz, 60 Hz thing. See, it just rips a bit there. So there's things that I've put in place that need a bit of fine tuning. Let's just try FF, if that does the full image or not. I forget what it was, why I did it at a lesser value. It doesn't really make much difference, but the shorter you make that, let me just pause it so you can see what's actually happening. So you see it's increased its color when it's got to about here. There's these two little like glitchy marks. I'm constantly see these, and I'm not too sure what it is that causes that, if it's a natural thing or something else, or something to do with the emulator. But so that's working. What's still to be tested? So sprites. Hopefully I've got a sprite example, sprite check. Right, yeah, I've got that there. Where bank 1, 0, address, well that's not bank 1 if it's not, as bank 1's way up there. Oh yeah, bank 1 is there. Yeah, so I put a kind of, I think I put a bit of a hack into this so it would work. It's this extra A here. It just means the pointer's off. It should be O1, but I've added, there we go, that actually works. But this needs fixed, I suppose, because I don't want it. I don't want this pointer to be A1. I'd rather it to be 0, 1, and this to be the right address. I suppose I could do it here. Was it? It has to be. Let's try 47F8. 47F8. Right, okay, that's a better value there, I suppose. But there's something internal that's going to knock this off, and it's not going to show right. I'm in the wrong bank now, or am I? I think I'm alright. It's probably not going to show right. That's his hand. Is that what I just changed it to? Yeah, so it's like it's one off for whatever reason. Let's just go there. Is that right? 47F8. 7F8. Yeah, see, it's kind of lapsed out now. It's not in the right initial address because I've put something in there that's not helping it. It's something internal that's knocked it off by AO, an amount AO. So I need to refix that. Problem was, like, I was putting these patches in to make it work, and the patches were actually not good. You know, it's a bit like you're fixing things that are. It's not how you fix things. In other words, you know, you don't just put putty all around a bath tube that's got a leak in it. You change the whole thing and you make sure it's solid, right? That's what I'm just being lazy. I'm just patching things up, and oh, it works now. Well, okay, right, move on. Oh, is that what I need to do? I need to like change this value, okay? But I'm not really reading the documentation properly, and I'm just insanely lazy about reading. In general, I don't have the attention span to read a paragraph. I see about 3 words and I'm just like, can't do it. So I learned just through immersing myself and making mistakes and letting people make mistakes on my behalf for me to fix them. I work better that way. So I've got these little Palmet cycles as well. Like, it counts how many frames I've passed. That's probably broken now. There's a lot of things that the bytes aren't calculated right either. Things are just still kind of broken. So if you do want it to be the right address, like 0 to be that, then this value needs to be, I don't know, something else. Wherever you load it in is now going to upset what frame it is, and that's not good. See, it keeps showing that one. We've got all this junk data everywhere as well, and I don't even know what mode that's trying to switch on to. It's like supposed to be text mode. If you left click this, you can go through them. So I could experiment with this all day, but I know the problem's actually in my code. I need to go back to the sprites with my new improved knowledge and fix that. Just keep showing that up there into the text mode at least. Oh yeah, because they're loaded in there, so you get the garbage on the character set location. I think again I need to make a proper memory map of all this stuff. It's interesting, but it's also a bit daunting stuff. So that's that. You can press F9 to clear everything, or you can click there, it clears everything. Joystick stuff, how that works is it uses a 0 page to work out what the signal coming in from the joystick is, and it does some comparisons with that to know what's happening. Then that triggers a little branch jump, so it basically says, if it's equal to fire, branch to the jump, so it does a little springboard jump, they call it. Branch to the next step, it jumps then to wherever you want to go, or wherever fire is. That way it's got a much broader range, because you might want your code to be quite big when you press the fire button, like loads of things could happen, or the code would just be so far away that you can't really use branches directly like that. You have to sort of branch to a jump, and that's how these work. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it works. So what we'd have is you get your label in there. You can use org blocks to organize yourself. So org blocks, if you turn off the proxy mode, you can put in a set address here where you want to code from, like you might want to code from 6000, right? And because you've switched this off, it's not going to try and pick up where these left off. So this one ends at 0835, and this one has sensed it. That's the sensor area there. That's sensed where to carry on. So you can basically put your label, your address in there, your joy done, right, like that. And now when the joystick's not doing anything, you could set a loop point back to check the joystick, check joy, right. It's looking for fire, nothing's happened. It's looking for fallback, it's found that, and you could just say, well, I don't want anything to happen if I don't push any direction, so I'll just go back to check joy. And instead of typing it in here, you can do a lookup like that. Right, so that's just going to loop round and round and round. Down here, it makes its way there. Right, this one's just an empty block where I can code or whatever, or I can actually put a label in here. An address label, and call it fire. Right, so when fire happens, this code will happen. Let's do something like print to screen, clear the screen, the text is going to be white, and just do fire. Right, that will literally just stay there unless I clear it with joy done, but that's one way to check it. And then you can alt drag back here to check joy again. I'm just going to put a little V068 in there just so it's like that, but this is jumping all the way to 6000 to do this, and then jumping back to check joy. So you should see up here, yeah, the little marker there, that's where this org block is. This is like a free org block, whatever. It doesn't have to sense, it's not sensing anything. As soon as you switch that, this will jump down there, it'll pick up the address, but then you have to retype in where you want the code again. But it's handy, right? Handy for, then you can organize your code however you want it. The other thing you can do is if you press B or click here, you can start this little organization block, and you can just call it joystick sensors, or whatever you want to call it, right? You can also color it as well, change it a different color, like green. Right, and then let's say that's going to be, your code's going to be massive, right? Your game's going to be, that's as far as you can zoom out. It's going to be like all here different things, all here different stuff, all here, right? Lots of different things. And you're like, oh, where's my joystick routine? So you hold down spacebar, just click joystick sensors, and it's supposed to recenter on it. It's do it a few times, it'll eventually get there. It's a bit broken, but hey, it gets you to it, right? I did it. I was trying to do it like go halfway between where you are and where you are, so you can kind of like zoom towards it. So if it was like up here, then you press that, it kind of supposed to get closer to it. But I'll just make it zoom in until it like fills the screen based on the mapping block size, something like that. That's fairly easy to do. So that should work. Let's just try it. I should have a joystick somewhere. If I don't, I'll just use the keyboard one. Let's use the keyboard one. Yeah, that's all. That's all plugged in. Is it waiting for fire? Oops. There we go. So yeah, basically I'm holding it down and it sort of goes away. Don't know if that's just because it's just constantly printing it. It's constantly clearing the screen. So that's that. I guess you could do then. I'll just copy the print again. Alt drag is great. I'm glad I added it because it's just nice. So I'll put that in here, and I would say -- no input. All right, and I can say let's change the color to 2. I'll make that a drop down, or you click it, it'll change, because I sort of changed the way that I started doing these color things instead of a number. I'll improve the graphics overall in the end as well once everything's sort of done. But that's that. Don't know what else there is right now, but yeah. Oh, it keeps saying fire. Notice that. So what's happening there? Let's have a look. Fallback, joy done. Input, no input. Back to check joy. Don't know why it's triggering fire, to be honest though. I've seen that a few times there. Fallback, joy done. I think I might need to loop from this point. Like it might be getting past here, and then ignoring that, and then get into this. So I think you need something here. So I'll just make it force it back to itself, because the fallback, like after, if there's no something, yeah, I don't know, it's something to do with timing, but that should maybe fix it. If not, then something else. Yeah, show them both. Show them both of them for whatever reason. Probably the print command needs to have a different location. Yeah, that's more like it. So you need to keep these like apart. So FIRE is 6 bytes, it's 14 bytes, as long as they're apart. Yeah, so I'll just put that in 2020 like that. So you need to watch with these print commands that you're not writing to the same location. I'll find a way to make that automated later as well. There we go, no input and fire. Right, so that's working. Again, things like the raster weight is kind of handy there. And you might not want to clear the screen actually. I could clear the screen at the very beginning just by putting in a print here, just to clear with nothing. And I'll just make sure, I won't actually affect anything. I'm just clearing that, and it's never doing it again. Goes into this loop. There we go. Of course, fire isn't clearing the screen, but you could have it that it could clear it one off, or whatever, or make it so there's loads of spaces there. Right, that's now 34 bytes. It holds up to 40 characters. It's like a full line, so it will take into account that space. So we should work now. Fire, fire, fire. Missed the 2 dashes at the front. So yeah, something might be overwriting it, or I've just don't know what I've done. No input. It completely missed these 2 dashes. So I wonder why that is. Oh yeah, of course, because something's overwriting it, because that's 34 bytes now. Fun. obviously the bytes need to be turned into hex to know where they end, so I might have to include that, but I'll figure out a better way of doing these, automating any of the print stuff so it just happens at the right time. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe just analyze everything, see what comes first, and then put it into some kind of concatenated feed, and then yeah, I'll figure it out. The next thing I want to work on is the named variables, to be honest. So that's that. Named variables, basically named addresses rather, variables with a name. It'd just be like, instead of load the accumulator with value storing 3000, you would just say, you know, set lives to 5, right? And it would just use the next available location to do that. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to make up, and that sort of ties in with the whole print string thing as well. Sure, there's other like IDEs that just manage that, and it's just a way of making it easier for you guys. So yeah, I'll need to tidy up the sprite stuff, then I'm going to move on to those variables. Again, I just need to look at the documentation for the Commodore a bit closer of where we can place sprites. I'll put markers in, like, you know, sprite, where the sprite pointers would go, and, you know, ideal bitmap point, I've got that there. This 2000 would be the ideal character set point, whereas I moved that way up. 7C00, it doesn't work up there. Tried all sorts of things and it didn't like it. Certain places it does. Multiples of 800 or something like that. So yeah, that's really it. That's where I am with everything. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Comment blocks, obviously you just press C, you can put in a comment and say, hi there, this is my huge AAA game. Oh, AA? No. Let's just go quadruple A, why not? Right, it's my huge quadruple A game. Saving. I was going to work on a save bar. I was just kind of looking into that just now to see how easy it is to sort of, don't know how important it is, but it just, like, the game sort of hangs up a bit. What's a random test? Oops, can't save here. Okay. Random test. Right. Sometimes if there's data, like assets and stuff, then it hangs up a bit. So yeah, in terms of like assets, so character sets, load one of them. Again, these all came from Carpad, and I think I might have shown this in the previous video. Carpad, binary, so it just loads in the binary ones. It will hold up to 512 characters, but I've not stress tested it yet. I've not checked that. I'll let it go past 512 just now, but I'm going to clamp it to 512. And then you would add your map data, and there's a map, simple map there. Yeah, this is one that I like to work on. You can mouse wheel, or there's a little zoom, plus and minus, middle mouse to move about, or use the arrow keys, and yeah, you can color away here. This is the funnest thing for me to do. So Alt again to do your colors. It would be good to be able to change the background color. Don't know if I can do that just now. Paint color, I've moved that there. Yeah, I don't have background color changing here yet, fortunately. But you do that in your Vic setup. But yeah, I'll just escape that. Save. So when you save this now, random test, it will take a bit longer to save. Right. You don't have to be using them for it to save them. It will just save. So if I press F9 and load my random test, it will load all this back in again. Same with bitmaps and all that. It self-contains it. I think just sprites will make visual versions of the sprites purely because it needs to cache them to run faster. Otherwise, it could be generating the images all the time. It sort of just saves them locally instead of caching them into RAM or anything like that. In case there's a lot, but I'm pretty sure it ditches them when you finish, or it should clean them up or overwrites them. So just watch out for, you know, your folders sort of appearing with data in them as you change your project name or anything like that. So that's that. Joystick, print, music and track stuff. I need to go back and check if music still works. Let's see if there's anything. I don't have a SID test. Let's just go back to this. I know that the track doesn't work anymore. Music should still work. Music is preferred to be loaded into 1000. It's just the way that I built it, and I managed to get a few other ones working, like one in 5000, one in 9000, but I think they were a fluke because I've not really been that successful with them. I don't know if I've got any music here. Where's my folder? SIDS. Okay, I've got the Commando one. It's my favourite one. That loads into 5000. I don't think this will work because automatically assigns it. It also has this exit label to exit to the game, so you're basically in the game at this point, so it'd be a good idea to do a loop. You can jump straight back to that exit point for quickness here, and I doubt this is going to work. We'll soon see. Can I keep changing things? Yeah, it works. And then you would select your track here. So like I say, some work in 5000, some in 9000, some in 1000. Just don't overlap them. Like 5000 is not good because we put our bitmap there. So if you want music, make sure it's in 1000. Put your bitmap in 4000, and everything else is up to you. Also, if it's in 1000, just make sure your code doesn't reach there. It's not that far away from it. There's your music data there. So you've got this much code. It's quite a lot of code, to be fair. I mean, if I just throw loads of joysticks into it, which are not the most expensive. What's the most expensive? 85 bytes, 15 bytes. Map is 104, right? So I just drag loads of these in. It's making markers for these. I don't want that. It's a complete mess. Right, so it's quite a while before you'll get to there, right? It's a lot of potential code, you know, hundreds of bytes worth there. There's no undo, unfortunately, at this point in time. You just kind of like left and right click, and you can sort of destroy stuff that way. I've made a complete mess here. Or you can potentially throw in an org and grab stuff. Will it do that? Yeah. I'm trying to break it now. Yeah, you can kind of like collect them, and then that didn't quite work the way I hoped there, but you drag off and right click it like that, right? Don't know if it was working. Yeah, hold left and tap right. There we go. I need to perfect that, actually, get that working better. Right, so jumping to SID exit, and yeah, you can choose your track there. There's code here as well. It says, you know, what does what. I'll need to fix my track chooser. I'm going to change the way it works because it used to work with the keys and it stopped working for whatever reason. I'm just going to try that again. Yeah, it just stopped working on me. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I need an actual loop point. Let me just try that. And target. I could have made a right mess of stuff, like just messing with those nodes. There might be some rogue node somewhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work anymore. It might just crash. Yeah, I need to sort that out. I wonder if there's any nodes hiding behind here. Does that still work? Have I broke it? Yeah, I broke it. Interesting. So, but that should still be fine then if I do it from scratch. Set music. Right, that's the exit. I'll just make up a new loop point. I'm going to make jump a shortcut on J because I keep pressing it. I keep pressing J for this jump label, and what I might do is do some like shortcuts for various things. Like L could be an LDA, S, we don't use S, so it could be an SDA. Just need to watch for Control S or whatever, but just little, you know, common ones. Maybe I can let you assign a shortcut with Alt keys and stuff. That would be handy, quality of life stuff. So let's see, click to set, exit, jump to the target, that will just loop. And I'll see if the track thing is working in a minute. So there's something I'd change with it, but I don't know what. It's just stopped working all of a sudden. Like it worked a minute ago. What the hell? What have I done different? This is what I mean. Like sometimes this just drives me mad. I don't know what I've actually done any different from a minute ago. At least I can look back at the video, but and you know what? I'm not looking up at the target label. That's probably what it was. Simple things. Please work. Okay. So with that now there, let's see if track still works. I'm pretty sure you put track there. I'm sure of it. If not, then I'll put it just outside of it. Doesn't like that. Doesn't like that. So that's either broken or I forget how to use it. Or there's something else you need to do, like kernel stuff, keyboard. I don't know. Is that now broken again? It shouldn't break at that end. It shouldn't actually break at that end. Yeah. There's something wrong with the track node, that's for sure. It's one of the first things I did was get music and kind of change the tracks. Yeah, and that's now old. Sprites are one of the oldest ones as well. Music, took me for a bit to get that right. That's now better. V068 could be improved so that it actually meets the full page, full line, so I need to just add a few more lines of code to it. Vic works, it's really for known bitmap stuff. Bitmaps are automated, so in theory you could show your bitmap and then when you press fire you could switch, bring the Vic in to switch it to character set mode, set up your character and your map. You know, grab your ones there. There'll be other options like multicolor stuff. You see I've started it but not really finished it, just put them in place. Other than that, you've got access to the full C64 mnemonic table here, plus a few illegals for timing, and none of that I really use. I think I use literally just a couple of LDAs and stuff. Again, I'm not really a coder. I think I've explored a little bit some of these. These look the same, but it's actually a typo. That one's an EOR media, not an aura. Need to fix that. There's probably some other ones that are typos as well, but yeah, just that one I missed. Aura ABX or ABY, ABX ABY. Yeah, and I've never really used these. I don't know what they actually do. Yeah, ink index, use them. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people make so far. But yeah, I'm going to end it on that. I need to fix sprites. I need to get named variables in. Eventually, I'll make up template games that people can just then load in their own stuff. That was always the goal. Was kind of make a template game making tool for Commodore games. Initially it was just going to be make games look like Commodore games, but then if you can't play it in your Commodore, what's the point? You know, you can just reskin it to be anything, and might as well be a modern game. So that's why I thought, let's just make this a thing, make it in, you know, a machine code tool. So just those first tests that I did, like, can I get a sprite to appear by making a buffer bit of code with a .prg at the end of it and throw it into Commodore, and just with the right header it worked. Took a while, but once you get that working, the next thing works, and it's just kind of snowballed from there, and it's been highly addictive. I can't stop thinking about it or working on it. It's burnt me out a few times, and my eyeballs looking at screens, but I'm enjoying it. Anyway guys, join the Discord, check out this on itch. I've put it at $5 to buy the latest version. I needed a little bit of funding from it because I'm putting all this time into it and not doing any other work. And then there'll be like a demo version, which is a few versions shorter of the more recent version. But if you join the Discord, you'll get a sneak peek at the latest version. But I expect a little bit of kind of, you know, here's the bug, you know, how do I do this? Like a little bit of community support happening with it to build it up, and helping people out with it, people that have learned stuff, helping other people, and yeah, just making this even better. This is only about a month's worth of work so far, but rapid, intense, lots of hours worth of development, and I'm going to spend at least 2 years working on this. I can't wait to get my Commodore Ultimate in a couple of weeks, and the games do run on Commodore. I've got a Kung Fu Flash card that I put the PRG onto. I put it on my Commodore and it just works, so I'm super hyped about making something with this. Eventually I want to support like tape emulation, disc emulation, cartridge emulation. I don't know how to do that just yet, but I'm sure where there's a will, there's a way, right? And everything else that's going to go round about it. Like, every node will also show like a code breakdown, so you can kind of learn what does what. I'll try and do them all like this. I've only done the macro SID, the macro music one, and I've done the sprite one, but these have sort of changed since then. But you get a general idea of what does what, and this is just information I've pulled out of the internet. I've found people's code and put it in there, and then commented it, sort of learning from it. But I still it doesn't really stick with me. Get memory like a fish. I just work really well in the moment, and yeah, I'm quite excited by where this could go. So that's really it. Yeah, if you want to do an assembly dump as well, F2 will give you a file where it's just like this kind of shorthand version of what's happening. The basic stub is built in before this, the SYS 2062, that's what's happening there. It's basically saying, 2062 or whatever, there's a space, and it's basically like a basic header which fires the program up, auto runs it. Then this is your clear the interrupt, your loading the accumulator. So that's basically the SEI is 78, that's the instruction value. LDA immediate mode is your A9 is your LDA, the value is 0. Your STA absolute mode, it goes to the address, is an 8D for STA, and it's a little endian format, we call it, where it's like this bit's that bit and that bit's that bit, so it swaps over. So that's how it's done, and then same deal there. And then macro music, it's not going to show you the breakdown of the code, so those ones, the macros will just say macro music, and then the code you'll see here, right? I figured that was just better than a big bunch of code in this one, but I might do like an alternative dump where it's actually something you can just paste directly into Vice's monitor and then hit go or whatever, and it should just work, or do an SYS command and it should just work. I'm kind of working on that as well. It's not important, not as important as the other stuff. So yeah, that was the idea. Paste complete, run once you exit monitors. You would basically copy this and paste it, and it would just work. But it won't work with these the macro music. It's that it only do the things it reads, so it would only make the screen black and then jump to this location. Well, this is actually just a jump to itself anyway. That's just a self-contained jump to, as you can see, 0878. So it's a little endian format. It's swap side, so 08 is there, 78's for it. So it kind of swaps it around. But yeah, that's all there is to it at the minute. I'm sure someone can make something with this, but it would be like crazy code once the macros are in place for like animation, movement, collision detection as well. I've yet to get to that because I've only just got around to the character set stuff. But this will grow, but I'll need to compress it up, so it'll be like smaller buttons. But there might be a lot of these in the end, and even if the community wants to like make up a macro, let me know what the mnemonics are for it. What's the instructions to make it happen? What is it? And then I can build it into and make a new macro up. They can even give me their code script. So if they make something with like an OR block or something, and they put in the core code there, say, here Rob, this does a thing, raster bar or whatever, or flashing characters, that does that. Cool, flash characters, put that in there and put a little kind of who made it, you know, when was it made and all that stuff. So it'd be kind of cool. Again, it's super early days. I'm nervous about letting this out there, but I'm also excited by letting this out there. But I'm not going to be too involved in fixing everyone's bugs because I'm already fixing a lot. But it's good if you report things, feature requests that are a bit far out there. Yeah, they'll stay quite far out there. In other words, like things like can you support my Arduino, or can you reverse engineer Last Ninja 3 or anything like that. And I'm not going to touch anything like that, so no. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.